So welcome to this video. My name is Alex, and the question in this video is, can I prove to you that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the Antichrist? Well, having studied this man for many years, listened to many of his Instagram speeches, and heard all the very clever, suggestive, almost hypnotic language he uses to ingratiate himself with everybody. He wants to be the world's most popular man. He wants to be the most liked man. He wants to be Mr. Likeable, Mr. Nice, Mr. Popular. And of course it says in the Bible that the Antichrist will be extremely popular, so convincing that he could even possibly deceive the elect. And so, having seen and studied Dwayne Johnson for many years, and I'm in no doubt whatsoever, not a shred of doubt left, that he is the man who will play the role of the Antichrist. He will become American president. That's almost guaranteed. And he is the man who will become the Antichrist, the figure that everyone's looking around for, waiting for him. Who's it going to be? Is it this man? Is it that man? I guarantee you, and I mean guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the man you're waiting for. And time will prove this to be true. But can I prove it to you? Can I prove it to you that he is the Antichrist? Well, the truth is that truth is self-evident. That means if something is true, it proves itself if you're willing to pay attention, if you're willing to look in the right direction, keep your eyes open, and keep your mind open. Then the truth reveals itself. This is the beautiful thing about truth. It reveals itself. So we don't really need to prove anything to anybody or persuade anybody of anything. We can just encourage people to pay attention and keep their minds open. So if you study Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to the degree at which I have studied him, if you listen to his speeches with a very, how can I put this, a very careful ear, a cynical, perhaps suspicious ear, listen to his speeches, listen out for how he tries to make you like him. He wants to be liked by everybody, because he wants to be universally popular, because that's how the Antichrist role, how the Antichrist agenda will be most successful, if he is as popular as possible. So if you observe this man carefully, listen to what he says, listen to his clever language techniques, because he's a master of language. He's a charmer, he's a smooth talker, he's a politician extraordinaire, very good politician. You know, politicians, before they get into power, politicians want to be the most popular person. They want you to like them. They want you to appreciate them and want them to be in a position of power. This is exactly what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is doing now. Even with his TV program, The Young Rock, then the whole of the American public are thinking, oh wow, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he has such an interesting childhood. He's such an interesting person. He seems like such a likable guy. And I feel like I understand him, because I've seen how he grew up and what he went through. So the propaganda that's being used to make him the most popular man on the planet, or definitely the most popular man in America, is so obvious. If you can't see it, then I feel sorry for you, because the propaganda to elevate this man to a position of universal popularity is blatant. I mean, absolutely blatant. Also in The Young Rock, he's running for president in the year 2032. So you see him in this presidential campaign, and it's just connecting him, in people's minds, connecting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with the presidency. And there is so much other evidence/propaganda that's been in the media to encourage us to consider, or encourage the American public to consider him as a future president. And that's all in the little kind of 5-minute video which follows this talk. So the bottom line is, I can't prove anything to you, but the truth proves itself. The truth reveals itself. Are you willing to pay attention? Are you willing to keep an open mind? Are you willing to study this man? Because if I'm right, and by the way, I know I'm right, I know that sounds very arrogant, but I am in no doubt, I know this is correct. I know this man is the Antichrist, because I've been studying him for so long, and hearing his clever language tricks and techniques. So if you are willing to If you want to know the truth, if you really want to know the truth about this man, study him, listen to his Instagram talks, and look at the propaganda. Start by watching this 5-minute video in which I've collated a lot of the evidence in this short 5-minute video so you can see for a start how obvious it is. I'm just going to finish this video by mentioning Black Adam, which is released on October the 21st, which is the story of the Antichrist. Essentially, Black Adam is this dark, demonic, twisted ruler who ends up having complete power. And the people adore him because, or the people who are on his side adore him because he protects them, he stands up for them. But the people who are against him, the people who oppose him, who don't accede to his way of seeing things, then they are treated brutally, and I mean brutally. And this is the Antichrist agenda. If you're on his side, if you fall in line with his agenda, then you're fine, you know. The Antichrist will be seen to be a protective leader. But if you stand up against the Antichrist and everything he stands for, which is essentially Satanism or anti-Christianity, if you stand up against him, then you are the enemy, and you will have his whole army perceiving you as the enemy. And this is what Black Adam is all about. It's the story of the Antichrist, this dark, twisted, disturbed, brutal ruler who ends up having complete power. And the reason that this is very clever propaganda is because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is blurring the lines between himself and the character of Black Adam. In so many of his Instagram videos, he calls himself the Man in Black. He actually addresses himself as the Man in Black. But in fact, Black Adam is the Man in Black. That's his other name, Black Adam, the Man in Black. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson constantly refers to himself and says, "I'm the Man in Black," from the Man in Black himself. And he's always wearing black as well. Notice that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is often or usually wearing black in his videos. Remember that big speech he gave last year, June the 4th, when, President Trump was meant to be hiding in a bunker. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gave this noble, regal speech, dressed in black, just after the Black Lives Matter riots. And he stood in front of the camera, looking very much like a leader, saying, "Where is our leader? Where is our compassionate leader?" And that's a very clever talk. In fact, one of my videos picks apart that talk and shows you the clever hypnotic language techniques he uses to suggest himself as the future leader of America. And it's blatant. When you look at the tricks and techniques he uses in that talk, it's obvious that he is hypnotizing the public. So if you love him, if you think he's great, if you think he'll be a great leader, then the propaganda has worked. He is a deceiver, he's a liar, he's a manipulator, he's a charmer, he's a politician extraordinaire, and he will become American president unless people start listening to me and listening to all those who are throwing doubt on his genuineness, or whatever the right word is, his honesty and integrity. Then maybe people will open their eyes, and maybe he won't be successful. That would be a miracle. So that's the purpose of these videos, not to throw hate out, or not to be casting shade on this man. He casts enough shade himself. He admitted himself he has a dark heart, a black heart, in one of his interviews. So that's not the aim of this talk. The aim of this talk is to open your eyes, or ask you to open your eyes and look at the evidence. Because everyone's looking for the Antichrist. Everybody is waiting, trying to spot who it is, and everyone thinks it's this man. People think it's the Pope. People think it's Donald Trump. People think it's Obama. You know, there are many red herrings, decoys, because the most important thing is that we don't figure out who the real Antichrist is. That's why Obama is being used as a decoy, because he's written this book called The Promised Land, which was released last year. And, you know, he wants people to think that he is the man. He's a decoy. Obama is a decoy. He's not the Antichrist. Because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is. And I guarantee you I'm right. And I mean, I guarantee you I'm right. Because I've studied him carefully. And I ask you to do the same. If you want to know the truth, if you want to really see who this man is, you've got to study him. You've got to listen to him. You've got to watch him and ask, is this man being honest? Or is this man trying to manipulate people? Is he a smooth talker, a charmer? And I think the truth will be self-evident. Okay, here's a few bits of evidence, a few minutes of bits of evidence that I've collated regarding The Rock and his online propaganda and his run for the presidency, which in my eyes is guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed. But look for yourself, and hopefully this will help you see who he really is. Okay, thanks for watching this video. I wish you well, and God bless you. You know, the media is being harnessed to promote interest in the darkness, interest in the occult, interest in Satanism. And it's because of the Antichrist agenda. The Antichrist is building his army. The Antichrist is building his army of young people, just like Hitler did, who will follow him and who will listen to him and who will think, yeah, I like your message. I believe in your message. Because his message is going to become quite dark. So I'll explain the psychology of the Antichrist himself and how he's going to operate. So basically, in the Bible, I mean, I'm not an expert on the Antichrist from the Bible. I'm an expert, you would say, on how it's unfolding in our society and how the media is being used and the psychology that's being implemented in society to get people ready for this Antichrist agenda. You could call it the New World Order, by the way. Some people call it the New World Order. It's like global communism, Brave New World, or 1984. All this kind of dark vision of society, that's the Antichrist agenda. That's the agenda, that's the world that the Antichrist or the satanic agenda wants us to live in. And it wants us to live in there, and it's doing everything it can to shepherd society in that direction. And the Antichrist, as an individual, as a human being, is key to leading everyone into this agenda and getting everyone behind him. Because then when everyone supports him, when everyone's behind him, just like when everyone got behind Hitler, you have to understand, everyone thought, yes, this man is going to bring change to our nation. This man is the way forward. This man is going to lead us into a new era. Okay, so everyone was behind him and everyone followed his orders. And then suddenly everyone realized, oh my goodness, he's killing millions of Jews. And then it was too late. And then they were in the system. It was firmly established in the German society. There was no escape. This man was in control and there was no escape. And so it's just the same with the Antichrist. Hitler's like a blueprint for the Antichrist, that he is going to get everyone behind him. Everyone's going to say, this man is great. I love this guy. He's so kind. He's so caring. He's so charismatic. He's going to lead us forward into this new era of peace, a new era of compassion, a new era of tolerance and equality. These are all the buzzwords he'll use: tolerance, inclusivity, equality. And this man is going to inspire everybody. And he is already inspiring everybody. And I'll tell you in just a moment the exact identity of this man, because this man is one of the most popular actors on the planet, one of the most popular human beings on this planet. This man is currently doing what Hitler was doing in the 1930s. He is selling himself as a man of the people, a man who cares, a man who stands for equality, a man who stands for compassion, a man who cares about everybody, a man who will lead society into a new era of peace. Now, these are the messages he's putting out, and this is his kind of promise. This is what he's going to be promising people and what he is promising people. And of course, it sounds good to everyone, because everybody wants to believe that someone will save our society. When people are seeing what's happening with the pandemic and with the creeping in of communism or socialism and the loss of freedom and the rioting in America, everyone is thinking, oh my goodness, where is this all going? Where is this going to lead us? We need a savior. We need someone to stand up and lead this world in compassion and love, who's going to solve our problems, who's going to get rid of all the hatred and get rid of all the negativity. And so there's this great thirst now, just as there was in Nazi Germany, there's this great thirst, and the thirst is increasing. And it's going to increase more and more. So there's this great hunger for a new leader to emerge and lead the nation, and not only the American nation, because he's an American man, but lead the world into this new era of hope and optimism and tolerance and inclusivity and compassion.
Where are you? Where is our leader? Where are you? Where is our compassionate leader? I care about you. I am listening to you. This is our country. You are all my people. And I take full responsibility and full accountability for something that has been hundreds of years of systemic disease. Why am I taking full accountability? Because I am your leader. I'm your leader, and I'm going to do everything I can to make this right. And I'll tell you what, you give me some trust, you give me some time, you give me some effort, you give me some love. I'm right there with you, and together we're going to make this right. Together we're going to create that change. Together we're going to normalize equality. We're going to do it, but we're going to do it together.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan! Hail Satan! And for the most evil invention in the world contest, I invented a child molesting robot. It's a robot that is designed to molest children. And it can, theoretically, molest twice as many children as a human molester in, quite frankly, half the time. What you do is you start by building a regular robot, then you molest it and hope that it continues the cycle.